Okay. Alrighty.
Alrighty.
We good to go?
Well, I mean, not everybody's
Alright.
in here.
Alrighty, sounds good. Welcome everybody back. Avid Gaming Esports. We are live here today. I am your shoutcaster tonight, Complex, joined here with analyst Red Panda. What's up, Panda?
I'm doing all right. Been watching some Cloud9 versus Liquid, but I feel like that game will not even compare to the game we're about to watch today.
Yeah,
I'm
I
ready
think we're
to
in for a
see
spicy
Blade.
treat.
Yeah, I'm ready to see Blade outdo Perks himself.
Hell yeah. No, I'm expecting, I really hope they don't ban his Yasuo, man. I want to see this Yasuo pop off. But that
Me
being
too.
said, today we are watching Ignition taking on the BabieZ, DBZ, in a best of one game here. So this is their first game of the season for both teams, and both of these are new captains to the league. So we haven't seen very much of their play other than a little bit in preseason. So I'm excited to see what ends up happening here. What kind of matchups are you looking forward to in this game?
I am actually, if they do not ban the Yasuo or the Yone, I'm actually really interested to see the mid lane. I was talking to Blade a little bit before this game. He was really confident going into this. Um, But outside of that, I think that you also might have to look at the bot. I think no, there's a jungler who they are subbing in for. So I'm kind of interested to see how this jungler will do for them, and how the synergies will line up without them having Biosphere this week.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I think the jungle matchup will be definitely very interesting. Their sub is Plat 4, but I don't think he's gotten any practice, if at all, with the team. So I don't know how well their synergy is going to be there. I don't know if he's going to, play to what I would assume their win condition would be his bot lane, just by rank disparities alone. They also have a sub in their top lane. They have their 6-man in for this one, Hypes Nova. I believe he is in the bronze elo, which he's going up against a platinum top laner, and there's a big gap there. And I know he's a bronze top laner who plays a lot of tanks traditionally if he plays top lane, but this is still you're going against someone who's platinum who mains like Camille. So I hope that he can do well and hold his own, because on the other side of the map, I mean, you got a diamond ADC going up against a silver ADC, so you have the same kind of gap on the other side of the coin. So it's going to be which side can carry hardest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't put too much stock in ranks. A little bit when it comes to like skill matchups and stuff like that, but really when it comes down to it, like anybody can have a really good game. I think that if you look at some of the better players in the league, even last year, you have Rentato, who was, silver, and he was up at like the top end of the supports, right? And there were a lot of supports that were a lot higher rated than him. So like, and the same thing whenever we saw Blade last week, whenever he was going up, I think it was against Conqueror Intensified. He popped off in both of his games he played. So I think that's one of the more interesting things to watch, actually, is whenever there is that skill disparity, because then it gives somebody a chance to like take the pressure off of themselves, like, think to themselves like, okay, well, they're expecting me to do this. They might be caught off guard. Let's see if I can catch them out. And I feel like that happens a little bit more often than we see.
Yeah, another thing I'm actually kind of excited about. So the mid laner, even as Steven, I believe has about like 2 million mastery on Ari, and Ignite the Ice in the bottom lane has 2 million mastery on Ashe on just this account. I believe he has other accounts. Maybe has like a collective of somewhere in like the 3.5, 4 million mastery on Ashe, which is just insane. It's ridiculous. But so you look at like where their weaknesses are, and they're not so much of a weakness. I mean, if you have that kind of comfortability and mastery on a champion, you should know every matchup by heart at that point, and should know when, like how you would play safe in those lanes. Now, yeah, there can be a mechanical skill difference, but when it comes to comfort, I mean, they're going to know these matchups probably better than even the diamond player. So I'm excited to see what they do. Will they get banned out? Maybe. I mean, if I see a 2 million mastery at Ari in my game, I probably want to ban it. I don't want to go against it because Charm is OP. But at the same time, you know, it's how comfortable are you with your team and with your players and whatnot. So um, I'm excited to see what goes down here. I think Blade versus even a Steven is going to be a hype matchup. Um, I really want to see Blade be able to get either Yasuo or Yone, but I highly doubt he gets either. Hey, there's a world
Yeah.
where he might. And if he does, we're going to see it almost guaranteed.
Yeah, he's definitely going to lock that in immediately. But what you're going on to before, especially with a champion like Ashe, if he's that proficient at Ashe and they leave up a champ like Ashe, like she's a champion that's useful in so many different ways that, in my opinion, like if you're not winning or you're not dominating or even if you're behind in lane, she is still so useful in a game just as her. She can slow people, she can stun from across the map. Like a champ like that, especially whenever you're going up against someone that's Diamond 4, and if you're really good at it, then you're going to have a big advantage, in my opinion, later on in the game, because you're not going to be as much of a detriment to your team as long as you just don't die or feed whoever the Diamond 4 is playing.
Absolutely. That being said, I think if Demon, I'm not saying that he's not smart, but if you are smart and you have that kind of rank disparity, you would expect them to play something with a lot of kill pressure in lane. Like you kind of want to, snowball your lead and try to carry the game, because I think if you try to play for something scaling, I mean, there's kind of no point in doing that unless you're, playing scaling with kill pressure support. You get fed and you accelerate, hit those power spikes sooner. But if you're having that kind of skill gap, if you want to carry the game, you should play kill pressure, because you should be able to rely on your skill and your ability to be able to get that early lead and to be able to use that lead efficiently to get objectives, get the dragons, rotate to mid, lane swap when you get tower, all that kind of stuff. And with Ignite the Ice being on Ashe, assuming he gets it, if he gets Ashe, his other highest mastery, by the way, is Sivir, and I think he has like 2.5 million mastery on Sivir, or 2 million mastery on Sivir, which is just another insane feat to have. So even if he doesn't get his main, he's got another one that he's just as comfortable on. So both of them play very safe in lane. He gets either one of those, there's a chance that he could just neutralize the lane and not die. Sure, he might be down a lot of XP and gold, but so long as he's not dying, he's winning his lane, if so to speak.
Yeah, and I think that when it comes down to it, Demon Angel has a lot of chances to make those types of plays with the champ pool he has. He plays a lot of Lucian, he plays a lot of Tristana. Those champions can get on top of you, they do lots of damage, and you have to be really on your toes. So that's where something like a skill gap like that could come into factor. Even if you're, like you were saying, if you're wanting to roam, Lucian's really good at that from getting across the map. Tristana is one of the best at it in the ADC role, and she's so good at all stages of the game. That's why we see her so much prioritized in like pro play, even in like solo queue. People really want to try and get her. But we are about to go into the pick ban. So we got the BabieZ on blue side and Ignite the Ice on red. And the first ban looks like it might be going to the Sivir. I know Blade was talking to me a little bit about Sivir a couple days ago whenever I was talking to him about how I play it. And he really does think that champion is very OP. And in a sense, like she's very adaptable in different circumstances between two different builds that she has. So I kind of agree. I think it's a good ban, especially if you're going to try and take away one of the bigger picks from Ignite the Ice.
Absolutely, and already there's the Yasuo ban. Look, they don't care what kind of rank Beyblade is. They know that if you see a Yasuo main, you don't give him his Yasuo. And I like that ban. It's a respect ban for sure. Did I want to see him play, the Yasuo mid lane? Obviously. He's got the signature, the blade move, and we're not going to be able to see that today. It's unfortunate. I hope at some point later down the road we do get to see it, but right away we see a Kha'Zix ban coming out. That's a target ban at Big Brain Bill. And right in response, there's the Tristana. So taking away Tristana from Demon Angel, and they took away the Kha'Zix from Big Brain Bill. Now, Bill is known to be a Kha'Zix main in the jungle per se, but he has a pretty large champion pool. So I'm curious what he's going to fall back to if he wants to try to take control and carry this game. And right away, there's Seraphine and there's a Kai'Sa ban. Wow. Okay, so they got some prep done here. They know what they want to ban.
Yeah, I'm interested that they're leaving up the Lucian, Demon Angel's Lucian. I'm interested that that's the one they decide to leave up instead of the Kai'Sa. I do agree with the Tristana ban very heavily, as I was talking about before, and obviously the Yasuo ban. The first two bans were really good. I think that instead of a Kai'Sa ban, they should have gone with the Lucian ban. I think that if you do have Ashe and you're able to get her, Kai'Sa's not as much of a problem as someone like Lucian is. And the fact that he, especially in a skill disparity matchup, because Kai'Sa
Absolutely.
does have to get a little bit closer to attack you than Lucian really does, and he has a lot more mobility.
I 100% agree with you on that. And now we see the Volibear get locked in here. Now, Volibear is definitely going to be in the jungle. There's a world where it could be flex top, but from what I know of BabieZ team and with their sub is they very much enjoy playing the Volibear in the jungle. It's kind of the comfort pick. And we see a Udyr get locked in. Udyr very strong, and are we going to see the Leona? We do. So already off the bat, you got the Udyr, very strong power clear jungler, very, very mobile, very popular in the meta right now. And despite nerf after nerf after nerf, I mean, we still see a lot of people want to play this champion. And Leona, a very strong ADC if you're looking for kill pressure, and very good at disengaging too, and keeping your ADC safe. So I like this pick right here. It does a lot in team fights, and it does a lot for neutralizing lane as well, or trying to go in if you want to. I mean, if they get the Ashe, you got Ashe Arrow and you got Leona ult. That's a really deadly combo.
Yeah,
Oh.
as we're also going to see the Yone probably get picked up here. That's Blade's
Yes!
second champion he plays, so he is going to get one of the Wind brothers, at least.
This is what I want to see. Honestly, I would have rather banned his Yone than his Yasuo. Yone is a disgusting champion, and the fact that they would rather see him on that than Yasuo, I think they're crazy. But you know what? I'm happy. I get to see Yone here, so I'm very curious to see what kind of response they're going to have with this pick. And looking like they are hovering the Alistar, and they do go ahead and lock it in, and there's the Ashe. Okay.
Yep.
So already, Ignite the Ice's team, they've got stuns on every single champion so far. They have a good amount of CC. I like their comp so far. On the other side, Volibear, Yone, Alistar. Also, I'm a fan of this, so I can't say anybody's really got the edge so far. I mean, we haven't seen like lane matchup counterparts, but this, I'm excited. This is looking spicy already.
Yeah, they're also going to ban the Ezreal. This really is the weird that they're going to let up the solution. Maybe they know something that I don't know, but Ezreal is one of the safer ADCs too, and with Leona Ashe, you definitely want to be able to engage on people pretty heavily. So probably not wanting to give him the safer pick. And there is the Lucian.
Yeah,
So,
taking away the Lucian now. I'm curious, are they gonna ban the Ahri? The Ahri is still up. 2 million mastery Ahri mid laner. I'm not too familiar with the Yone versus Ahri matchup. Uh, I kind of want to see it get banned away, but at the same time, I kind of want to see it. You know, I want to see what this 2 million mastery Ahri main can do.
yeah.
Other than that, I mean, you look at what they're banning. They banned a top laner. They've got one more ban to work with. Ignite the Ice's team. They banned 2 ADCs, so you kind of see where they're trying to put the prio, and look like they're hovering that Renekton. Did they lock that ban in? That would be taking away quite a deadly pick in top lane if you planned on playing something like a Scion or a tank and trying to play safe. So they do end up banning it away. Now, over to Ignite the Ice's team, Ignition. We'll see what they go ahead and ban. Or go and lock in, rather.
Yeah, it looks like the Syndra they were going to go with in the mid lane.
This is an insane comp so far. This is a really damn good comp. Oh, and Samira! We see the Samira get locked in. So there's that kill pressure. Samira Alistar is a very strong duo in the bottom lane going against Ashley Ona. And do we see the Ornn? Oh my god, these are two really fucking good team comps if we see this Ornn get locked in here.
Yeah, definitely. Ornn is like what I was talking about with Ashe for me in the top lane. Like no matter what happens, I feel like he's still such a effective part of a team, especially with like upgrades, his knockup. So I think Ornn's a really good lock in here, especially for Hypes Nova. Like it's one of his champions he's a little bit more comfortable on, and as we said, he likes to play the tanks. So why not play the absolute super tank?
Yeah, now let's see what kind of top laner they decide to go with on the side of Ignition. Um, is there any tank that has a stun other than, I mean, Volley? Who would they have to complete it with
I was
five
about to
stuns?
say Malphite, just the
I mean,
ultimate stun.
Malphite's just a knock-up. I mean, I'll take it. Look, I'm not complaining. They got great CC across the board. They got a very clear win condition through Syndra. Um, the thing that I feel like they're lacking the most though is 80 damage. Ashe doesn't have the strongest 80 damage, and neither does Udyr. Udyr wanting to go mostly AP with the Armax. So while I like the amount of CC and Wombo they have, if like they're putting a lot of pressure on Ignite to be able to do a lot of 80 damage and carry through that.
Yeah, looking at these team comps as well is that a lot of the CC is really actually going to affect Demon Angel very heavily with being on the smear. Yes, she can get rid of Ashar and she can get rid of the Syndra stuns, but she can't get rid of Leona stun. And if she ults, that is so many people that can stop her from ulting, and that's one of the bigger parts of her kit. So she's just going to be a sitting duck in the middle of that. So I think that puts a lot on also Blade as well to try and get some picks, create openings for the Samira. But they do have really good front to back right now, and being able to keep Samira safe while she's trying to stack up her tiers to get to S to use her ult. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Ashe is pretty much almost forced in the situation to go something like a Kraken Slayer. She is the one of the only AD on her team, and they do have a Volibear, Alistar, and Ornn. So it's going to be interesting. I'm thinking that they probably should have gone something a little bit more AD heavy to take a little bit more of the pressure off of Ignite the Ice, but let's see if he can step up and do it. I still think the Ashe pick's really good. I think that if played correctly with Kraken Slayer, this team is going to be hard. This team comp's going to be hard to beat, especially 5v5.
I agree. You know, I think I got to give the edge to BabieZ looking at these two drafts. Now, while BabieZ does lack a lot of AP damage, Volibear and Ornn being like the only two sources of actual AP on their team, the simple fact of the matter is their win condition has a kill lane, whereas if you look at Ignition, their win condition is on a tank. So, I mean, yeah, you can get a lead in lane, but Malphite's not going to be able to 1v9 the game unless, you just hit every 5-man ulti, but you're at that point, like, you still need damage to finish these kills. And when we looked at, where the points of the team were invested, it was put mostly into their top and jungle, and neither one of them are on a hard carry champion. Now, Udyr can pop off and carry games and be hard to kill, but again, he doesn't do a ton of damage either. You look at BabieZ's side, you have a Samira, you have a Yone. You have two clear win conditions with three beefy boys. Now, yes, Ignition does have a lot of stuns, they have a lot of CC, a lot of really strong crowd control, but they don't have a clear set win condition aside from Syndra. So they're putting all their pressure on their mid laner to be able to do the majority of the damage this game because Ashe isn't going to have a ton of AD. And, I mean, if Syndra gets caught, I mean, your damage is cut in like massively. It's probably 70% of your team's damage all in one champion right there. Just looking at it, knowing Ashe as a more utility ADC.
Yeah, I still think it's going to come down very heavily to how team fights work out and everything, especially with, I haven't seen much Yone play since the nerf to Immortal Shobo myself. I know he's still played, but if Immortal Shobo still had its original passive, I would be on BabieZ's side completely, especially since the Smear and Yone use it so well. They're probably still going to build it, but I think that it comes down to the fact that they have to be all in. And if you're going all in, and you're going to be grouped up like that with a Malphite, with a Syndra, with a Leona, there's just so much setup they can make to just give the Ashe and the Syndra time to deal with the damage before the Yone and the Samira can completely pop the rest of them off.
Yeah, and I agree. There's definitely there's an idea for both teams here. I think that both of them have solid drafts, but there's like just one piece that each of them I feel like are missing. Ignition being a stronger source of AD damage, and BabieZ being a source of AP damage. I think if you swap out, say, this Volibear for a Karthus, or something that has just a stronger AP, like an AP jungler, or if Volibear decides to go the AP route, which is totally fine, that covers that base. Um, then they have a solid, super solid team comp that covers other bases. You look at Ignition, and if Ashe is able to pop off and carry, then they don't have anything to worry about. But if Ashe doesn't get ahead, which is unlikely given the circumstances, but there is a world where it happens. If Ashe doesn't get ahead, they're lacking a ton of 80 damage, and itemizing against that team is going to be very easy from that point on. Even though Syndra can one shot and pop anybody, Samira has a way to block it. Yone can, deal with it as well with the shield bow shield, as well as he can get like an Edge of Night or something like that. Just something to deal with that kind of MR. You can even go Merc Treads and you'd be just fine. You could probably still get popped later on, but Merc Treads does a really solid job in lane of keeping you alive. So I'm very interested to see how these teams execute. It's definitely going to come down to execution difference because both their drafts have a clear win condition. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit of a different tweak there. So, anyways, now that we have gotten all that taken care of, we're going to go to a brief little delay while we load into the game, and when we come back, the BabieZ will be taking on Ignition Gaming.
I actually kind of want to see the mastery points like Ikeba Taco has and Jin and all that.
Alrighty, we are back. Okay, alrighty. So we are about to be in the game. It's still dark for me.
Yeah, it's still dark for me too.
Now, let's take a look at these summoner spells. Samira did take Cleanse. So that is important to note. Cleanse is very necessary in this game when there's just this much CC. Okay, and now mine is going. So,
As it looks like we are all synced up.
yep. Looks like
Yep,
we are
we are
good.
all synced up. So, but yeah, we do see the cleanse down bot lane. That does take away a very pivotal Summoner Spell and heal away from her, but then again, heal isn't going to do much good for you if you get chain CC'd by someone like Leona and Ashe. So I think actually, as it's probably a really popular opinion, that Leona is the best support to play with Ashe, and just the chain CC you can get bot lane and the gank setups you can get with it are just absolutely nuts. So taking the cleanse is a really good idea, and it's a relatively low cooldown summoner spell.
Yeah, absolutely. And to note, there is no heal from the side of Demon Angel and Steel Fist in the spot lane. They're going cleanse ignite, so they're all in on getting these kills. I mean, you kind of have to if you're taking Samira. She doesn't have the best scaling of ADCs, but she has probably one of the strongest lane dominance of ADCs, other than aside from maybe like a Draven, Lucian, or Callista. But regardless, so we're seeing just a real standard 5-point start from the teams here, looking like Udyr will be starting on his blue side buff. Volibear starting same side of the map on his red side. So we'll see both junglers pathing from their bot lanes towards top lane, maybe even see an early scuttle fight. So I hope we see something like that. And both junglers are taking blue smite. One important thing to note, Ashe is starting with Cole. Not something you normally see.
He's probably a big sneaky fan. That is a sneaky thing. He made a whole video on it, and I remember he asked everybody in the LCS what they thought of it. So he really likes, at least it was last season before the Mythics, the idea of it is that you get your power spike quicker as long as you farm well enough. So, and you heal more.
Yeah, so you definitely, I mean, it's very risky. It requires you to be able to farm, but it also requires you to not necessarily want to take a whole bunch of fights and die, because you are sacrificing a lot of damage and sustain in lane taking Cole for that. Because while it doesn't have the superior sustain. That being said, now both junglers are on their top side of the map. Volibear currently actually skipped over Wolves, it looks like, and is doing blue and Gromp. Udyr on his Raptors currently, about to go to his red. And right now, top lane, the Malphite has the push advantage into the Ornn.
Yeah, as we see, Udyr's going to get his double buff, but both junglers are near top side, so we might see a little bit of action top side. Malphite is pushed up a little bit, so Udyr will be there to answer if the volley does decide to go up there. But it looks like volley's finally going to go to his Wolves, so maybe just... No, he's skipping over his Wolves, so he's going to go towards bot Scuttle.
Either bot Scuttle or bot Krugs. I would assume bot side Scuttle, maybe not wanting to take a fight with Udyr. Maybe trying to play it a little bit safer, or maybe even looking like he's going to go for a little bit of a cheese here, going for the Scuttle Crab into a bot side gank. Now, the wave is starting to stable out here, and it's on their side of the map. They could very well, if they decide to hold this for a few seconds longer, but Alistar already going in onto Ashe. Ashe now dropped quite low, losing about a third of her HP. Meanwhile, they are forced to back up now, and Alistar and Samira now have control of the lane. Ashe mana also below about half HP. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Volibear going in for the gank, gets a stun onto Udyr, but a big two-man stun from the Syndra, and they're going in on this fight. Udyr getting the first blood onto Volibear. Yone now trying to do his best to fight this, but will end up dropping, and that is a double kill onto ROTC. Lane swapping with Antifa, by the way, and he is playing the Udyr in the jungle. Big Brain Bill decided to go to top lane to play the Malphite. So, interesting development here, and already we're seeing a 2-0 start.
Yep, having the 2 kills on the Udyr as well, he's going to be able to even get the more productive ganks off. Like right now with the Phoenix stance, he's going to get a lot closer to that Chem tank. So we were really interested to see the matchup between Blade and even a Steven. But the
up
Syndra
here on
already
top side, Malphite getting dropped very low, very dangerous position here, and the wave is in Ornn's favor, definitely. So gotta be very, very careful here. You're not in a situation where you really want to take these fights, especially if you don't know where their jungler is. Volibear currently on bottom side of the map, though, so doesn't have to worry about a gank for at least a few minutes. Now, bot lane is pushing into Demon Angel and Steel Fist here. Ashe, however, has no mana, so if she needs to be able to pop a W to try to give herself some more distance, try to get out, or even try to poke, she will not have it, but possibly looking like they might take a reset here. Meanwhile, top side of the map, Malphite's HP is still very low, but Udyr is up here for the gank. Ornn uses the E, trying to get away, trying to dash out. However, Udyr will get slowed and will not be able to complete the gank, and unfortunately for them, it will be a big waste of time. Good job there from Hype's Nova being able to disengage and be able to get out of that gank without taking any damage.
As we just see in the bot side, we see Ignite the Ice actually keeping up relatively close in farm as well. So he has about 66 farm away from getting the refund on Cole. And overall, we see Blade actually doing really well in farm. Even though he got killed, he is about 11 CS up right now.
Yeah, and looking like we have seen Udyr take his first reset now, going with the Bommy's Cinder and the plated steel caps. So, I mean, that's a pretty strong back if you're Udyr. You're going to be moving a little bit faster. You're taking less AD damage. So, I mean, proper itemization. They have no real AP threat. And now you're kind of in the driver's seat. And mid lane, Cinder actually has a Seeker's Arm Guard. So very strong into any kind of AD mid laner. And, kind of showing a little bit of, I'm not really trying to look to just hard smurf on you and destroy you in lane. I'm going to make sure that I don't die. But if you do try to go in, she is soon to have her exhaust up, and we'll be able to possibly win that 1v1 that way. Meanwhile, though, bottom side, Leona hits the stun on Alistar. Alistar now taking a bit of damage here from the Ashe, but we'll be able to just walk out of this fairly safe. Should be able to sustain back up just nicely with the passive. Now we might see a little bit of mid lane action here. Malphite is roaming down to the mid lane. And looking like Yone wisening up, understanding that he might get ganked, just backs all the way up. So nothing should happen here. Udyr now going towards bottom side blue buff. Dragon is available.
Yeah, they were setting up vision a minute ago for that dragon, but now no one has really any vision near it. So I'd like to see Udyr step up and get a little bit more of vision control on the ocean, especially with this bot lane being a little bit more pushed up than they were before. So the Ocean Drake, obviously one of the better Drakes right now. We know that's not going to be Soul, but having the extra healing from the Ocean Soul is always really good for team fights, and they are a 5v5 comp, and it looks like they actually are going to start going for it.
Yeah, but I get a feeling like they know that they're on it. We haven't seen any pings come out, but they did kind of walk very tellingly towards the topside river. And yeah, that will be Dragon taken over. First Dragon is Ocean, claimed by Ignition. A little bit of fighting going on here topside though. And looks like just two beefy boys hitting each other. Not a whole lot going to happen from that, but they do drop each other down about half HP. Should be able to sustain up just fine though. So not a whole lot going on there with that one. So looking at the gold difference right now, it's roughly 800 gold difference in favor of Ignition right now. Not a huge difference, but it's still pretty early on in the game, and that's a large gap to have this early.
Yeah, and they're in really good position also to start setting up for this Rift Herald. You have the Malphite pushed in right now. You have Syndra coming back to lane. So hopefully after this red buff, it looks like they actually are going to start heading down there to make that play. Volibear is there though. So whenever he tries to set this up, it doesn't look like he's going to go any deeper than that. But when they start setting it up, Volibear will be there to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking like we are seeing a little bit of missing pings. They don't quite know where Ornn is, but Ornn is just backing up in the lane, trying to be safe. Meanwhile, though, bottom side, the wave is pushing in. Demon Angel and Steelfist right now have the push advantage, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get too much off of it. However, Udyr is on the Rift Herald right now in top side of the map, and it doesn't look like they have any vision. They don't know he's here. Volibear is actually going to start resetting, so this should just be a free objective for Ignition.
Yeah, that's two objectives they just kind of handed over to Ignition. Oh, we see the Ashe arrow coming through. I don't think it's going to hit the Ornn, though. No, a little farther down than it needed to be.
Yeah, and so that is Ashe without ultimate now. Now, Volibear is actually trying to go in here on Malphite. Malphite does have ultimate, and Udyr is right here. There's the Ornn Horn. Volibear going in. Malphite getting dropped very low. Uses his own ultimate and then flashes out, trying to get out, but does not end up making it. Meanwhile, Udyr is now fighting a 1v2, gets the kill onto the Volibear. Now it's Udyr versus the Ornn, trying to fight and looking like he might just disengage it. A little bit of BM there on the back end of that, but does end up just getting out, trading 1-for-1, jungler for top laner. So kill going over to Volibear, but now Udyr 3-0 start with a 22 CS lead in the jungle. Ooh, and Yone might be in trouble here. Gets stunned up, taking a lot of damage. The ultimate is dropped. Yone getting dropped very low. And looking like he'll just have to take a reset here. Udyr was more focused on the Scuttle Crab, but probably could have pulled off a gank there and actually gotten that kill. Looking like he will just reset on this top side.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked to also see this Udyr be so far ahead in farm. We've seen him ganking a lot, so a little question of the path.
Oh, Yone going for the flash R, but does not end up hitting it because Syndra uses her stopwatch and will survive this gank despite having no mana. Will do her best to try to clear this wave under tower, and you hate to see it. Blade used the ignite, used the flash, and used the ultimate, and ended up not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, a lot blown there for no result. They did pop the stopwatch of Syndra though, so that could open a little bit more up windows for Blade to get stuff going mid until they get the hourglass. But right now it's about the only win they get out of that gank.
Yeah, and looking here in bot lane, the CS disparity is growing a little bit. Currently sitting at about a 29 to 30-ish CS gap right now in favor of Demon Angel on the Samira. So right now, you're seeing a little bit of excitement. Now, however, going over here in top side, we are seeing a dive going on. Udyr goes in, hits the stun onto Hype's Nova, and Malphite ends up getting the kill. Beautifully executed dive up there on the top side of the map, and now drops the Rift Herald. And Udyr's just trying to accelerate his lead right now and trying to carry this game and doing an excellent job so far of doing that. Meanwhile, though, bottom side of the map, they're looking like they're going to try to dive this down here in bottom lane. Leona goes in, hits stun, but now doesn't have anything to save the Ashe, and there goes Samira flying in there, and they get the kill. Alistar getting the last hit, though, unfortunately, and there's Volibear using the ultimate now. They're trying to secure the kill onto Leona, and looking like they will. Alistar gets the kill onto Leona, and that is not what you want to see. Alistar getting both the kills on this beautifully executed dive. Very unfortunate to see, and they end up actually dropping Rift Herald top and getting that first tower in top lane. All that gold going on to Malphite and Udyr. Meanwhile, bottom lane, your win condition ends up going all the gold to Alistar. Not what you want to see.
Yeah, you don't want to give over... You want to give all your gold over to the hyper carry over here. Samira does a lot of damage when she gets her second item in Collector, so halting that a little bit, but they still do get a couple tower plates off of it, as it does look like we are going to see Ignition start setting up for this dragon. So that might be the second dragon for them, and it is a Infernal Drake.
Yeah, and, you know, despite what, you know, rumors have said about this team right now, and not a whole lot of people really knowing who they are, they're playing pretty clean macro. They've been on every objective first. You know, they've been taking everything. Udyr's playing great with the role swap, and this might be a team that people are going to have to watch out for right now. They're currently in the driver's seat of this game with, you know, roughly 1,000 gold lead or so. But, I mean, gold lead aside, you've gotten first tower, you've gotten 2 dragons. The only thing they're really lacking right now is CS in the mid and bot lane, but I think that's an acceptable sacrifice to have, considering you've got all the objectives.
Yeah, definitely they've been outside of the lane a little bit. They've set up vision control very well around these objectives, as we see. Right now we see a lot more red down than we see blue in the wards, especially near the enemy side of the map. We do see a little bit of... well, he's just going to walk away.
Yeah, Udyr ends up just getting that ward and just walking out, not wanting to take that fight so close to BabieZ tower there. It would be kind of a bad play to go for that. I mean, you could probably try to maybe force something, but with so close of a tower next to you, you can just escape out. However, in the bottom lane, though, Alistar going in onto Ashe, and Leona using the ultimate on Samira. Samira now using her cleanse. They're going in onto Ashe. Ashe getting dropped very low and ends up getting killed. Kill over to Demon Angel. Now they're going for this Leona. They're going in. Samira using the ultimate. Can they end up securing this kill? Meanwhile, though, Malphite is rotating down, uses the ultimate, doing his best, trying to get the kill. However, Samira is now taking tower. Samira using the second ult reset, and the kill ends up going over to Volibear. And now here's the Udyr. Udyr got in a very dangerous position here. Hits the stun, but now Volibear's going in. Uses the ultimate and ends up just forcing Udyr off tower. However, Udyr is now going in onto Samira, just kind of harassing him a little bit, just hitting him with the stun, but not really going to be able to turn this into anything, trying to save his tower, trying to clear the wave. Meanwhile, though, Yone is rotating down near bot side, and Udyr is getting dropped very low and will end up dying for this aggressive play here. And there's a kill now onto the Yone. Yone getting a shutdown. Samira getting 2 kills in the play. This is not what you wanted from the side of Ignition. You were in control, you were doing so well, but now over here on top side, now Ornn is actually getting caught, and will Ash be able to secure this kill? And Ash does end up getting the kill onto Hypes Nova. Hypes Nova overstaying just a little too long. However, now here mid lane, Yone going for the solo kill onto Syndra. Syndra using the exhaust, using the Zhonya's, now trying to get out of this, but Yone does so much damage, forced to flash, forced to burn everything. And here's Volibear from behind, diving from behind the tower, takes 2 tower shots, and gets out with his life. Kill going over to Yone. This is not what you wanted if you're Ignition. Both of the win conditions from the side of the BabieZ have now been fed.
So much going on in such a short period of time. They literally, everything went back and forth. Now they have the BabieZ a little bit more in the driver's seat over here, as they have a almost 3,000 gold lead on top of this, even though they're down 3 whole objectives right now. They got the 2 towers. They have Samira with a little bit more gold in her, and she has a 300 gold shutdown right now on her.
Yeah, this is not what you wanted. This is, you were in control of the game, you had about 1,000 gold lead, you're up objectives, and then the throw just happens. You get caught in bot lane, end up getting the kill, and then they get the kill onto Leona. Malphite comes in trying to save the play, ends up dying, and then Udyr ends up dying as well, trying to save the tower. Instead of just giving up that tower, tries to save it, ends up getting dropped for it. And then Yone going back mid lane, getting the solo kill. So now looking like their topside jungle here. Yone is in a little bit of a dangerous position. Is currently Yone and Volibear here against the Udyr and Syndra. Yone getting dropped very low. This Udyr is doing a ton of damage. Yone now just trying to get out of this alive. However, in the mid tier 2 tower, Volibear goes in with the R, gets the kill, but over here in top side, we see Samira and Alistar going in, diving the Ashe Leona, going for another kill, and there's a double kill for the Samira. Demon Angel is getting fed. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they ended up trading 1-for-1 Syndra for the Yone, so this game is, it's getting out of control very quick.
Yeah, they definitely gave a lot down in bot side, and now they're just letting Demon Angel just take over this game completely. Like, him and this Volibear right now are just putting the BabieZ on their back and running off with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you needed if you're the BabieZ. You gotta get your win condition fed. You know, you gotta get the Yone fed, you gotta get the Samira fed. And right now, Samira has a 61 CS advantage and is up 4-0 with 4 assists to a 1-3 Ashe. So, I mean, Samira is in the driver's seat right now. I don't think that if they 5v5 team fight, I'm pretty sure the BabieZ just wins every team fight unless you properly chain CC this Samira. Now, looking like they do have the early setup here on the Dragon. I don't believe they're going to be able to stop this thing, though. Yone goes over the wall trying to steal, does not end up getting the steal, and that is another Dragon for the side of Ignition. So they are currently on Soul Point, despite being down a nearly 4,000 gold deficit.
Yeah, and if there's any team that was really hoping to get the Soul Point on Cloud and hoping for the Cloud Soul, it had to be Ignition. Like, some of their ults are absolutely disgusting, and having those on a low cooldown, especially when you're behind in these team fights, you're going to want those ults up, like the Malphites, like Ashe, like Leona. So I think continuously stacking these dragons is going to be a really good thing for them, but I do think that they have been forfeiting over a lot of objectives on the BabieZ side.
Absolutely. Now, looking like they are rotating right now. The BabieZ rotating towards this Rift Herald, looking like they are going to try to get their first objective of the game, aside from the 3 towers that they do have currently. So, if they get this Rift Herald, I mean, if they win the next team fight, they could very easily crack an inhib, considering they are currently, they've taken all outer towers, aside from the tier 2s, and they took the mid tower. So, they've currently got the map wide open for them to do what they need to.
Yeah, 100%, as we are going to see a little bit more grouped up in mid lane. We're seeing a 1-3-1 across the map right now for the side of Ignition. Which is kind of odd whenever you see that they have a lot of the press R going on. You have the Malphite down in the bot lane. His TP is still up, so that way that he can get to this next objective, which should be the Baron that they will all be going for.
Yeah, and looking like they are going to start setting up this early vision around here. BabieZ currently on the top side of the map, while Udyr is currently on the bottom side. Malphite is in bottom side river, though, but he will be spotted out on a ward, so maybe trying to look for some sort of cheeky play, but they know he's coming, and Alistar goes in on a Malphite. Malphite now getting stunned up, getting chain CC. Ashe uses the arrow and ends up missing. There's a Leona ultimate, only hits the Volibear, though. And there's only one more ult left. There it is, the Malphite ultimate going in. Samira is still healthy though, and she still has everything that she can use using the ultimate. And there it is, double kill for the Volibear, double kill for the Ornn. And only person left standing is the Syndra in top lane, who's currently being matched by the Yone. And what are they going to do next? Are they going to go to Baron, or are they going to push down mid? And looking like they're deciding to drop the Rift Herald mid and send 4 people to the Baron right now. Meanwhile, Yone will just hold Syndra in top lane, unable to do anything, and that is a free Baron for the side of BabieZ, now with a 6,000 gold lead.
Yeah, we're just seeing this Samir just able to take up this whole game, and like I said, this Volibear just being very impactful in team fights. You also have Ornn, who can upgrade items. His ult's really effective. They're just in the perfect spot right now, and if Ignition really wants to start doing something, they gotta group up, they gotta figure out how to coordinate these ults. They have so much CC to shut down this Smear whenever she goes in, but they just are just getting chunked down so quickly, and they're just letting if I remember, they're not even really using it towards her, they're just trying to use it to engage.
Yeah, I do believe in that last team fight, only one ultimate actually connected with the Samira, and that was the Malphite ult, and she got dropped to about half HP and was forced to pop her Immortal Shield Bow. So you could only imagine what would have happened if all the other CCs layered properly and chained on her. Meanwhile, though, on the top side here, Udyr's running down the Yone right now. Yone being caught out in a 1v4 situation and will end up getting dropped. The kill goes over to ROTC on the Udyr. So, I mean, if Udyr's your win condition, you just got to keep funneling gold onto that Udyr and, you know, try your best to get him ahead. But I would have liked to have seen that kill go over to the Syndra.
Alright, as we do see a little bit grouped up top side. The next objective, I don't know when Drag will be up, but...
Drag will be up in about 1 minute and 5 seconds currently. The next drag being obviously the Cloud Dragon. So, looking like they are going to start setting up maybe towards this bottom side after pushing out this mid wave. Volibear is starting to rotate down from the top side river. Ornn holding his own in this bottom side though. Malphite looking like he's going to try to take a reset here and will be cancelled. So, while they have this Baron buff, they're able to push these waves, but not really getting a whole lot with them. Not exactly utilizing the Baron buff the best. So maybe just trying to keep these waves pushed, and they should be able to get this dragon unless Ignition is able to rotate some sort of great play here. And
yeah, so it looks like they are going to have... sorry, it looks like they are going to have a little bit more of the prio, actually, for the first time on BabieZ for this dragon fight, and it looks like they're walking into their death a little bit here, as we do see the Yone still around trying to get the red buff before all this. But they're going to have to set up some pretty good positioning for this. I would like to see the Malphite flank around.
Yeah, and here we are setting it up now. Dragon is spawning up, looking like they will start it up, and looks like they are just going to go ahead and give up this dragon, saying, you know what, you can have one of the clouds, we don't need it. So they are just going to rotate now to mid lane from this dragon. Ornn will be pushing out the bot lane here, and Volibear is running in, trying to get this kill onto the Syndra, and Syndra forced to flash. Volibear is now diving under tower. Ult did not connect with the tower, so he's taking full damage from this. Getting dropped very low. Tower does end up dropping. Malphite using the ultimate to go in. Samira is still alive, dropped to about half HP right now, is stunned up. Samira going in, is going to hit her S tier style and going in. Double kill onto Beyblade, and a double kill onto Alistar, and there is the ace. Everybody is dead for about 25 to 30 seconds now. They should be able to crack this inhib, and they might be able to take a Nexus tower or two as well.
It looks like they are going to send Ornn down to the bot lane. They still have Baron buff, so they should be able to take at least an inhibitor in the mid lane and get the inhibitor turret before everybody comes back up. So we'll see if they're able to actually get the second inhibitor. If they do, that's just going to put this team so far behind even more, and it's going to make it so hard for them to be able to do anything in these team fights, which is what this comp was really built around for them.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Ignition, they used all of their ultimates in that last team fight, so they're not really able to chase here. If they do, it's kind of suicide. So they're just going to have to let them take those towers and just get out with their lives. And looking like they are trying to chase a little bit, but they, again, like I said, they don't have any ultimates. Malphite ult is coming up, though. Leona now has her ultimate. They might be able to make something happen here. Stun does land on Samira. Samira using the cleanse. There's the Malphite ultimate going in, and they're trying to clean this thing up. Ornhorn gets called in, and everybody's getting dropped very low. Syndra getting a triple kill right now. Will she get the Quadra onto the Ornn? No, she will not. The shutdown goes over to Malphite, and they end up getting 4 here. Udyr's chasing down this Volibear. Volibear doing his best, trying to get out of here. He's currently under tower. There's the Ashe arrow. The Unstoppable comes in for Volibear. Volibear gets the outplay of his life under tower from that Udyr, getting the kill despite getting hit by Ashe arrow. Beautiful use of the ultimate to make himself unstoppable and get that kill. And what was looking like it was going to be an ace, I mean, they end up trading one back, but it is still not what you want from the BabieZ. Unfortunately, they greeted for that last tower when they should have gotten out and end up getting chased down and killed. So if you're in the side of Ignition, what do you do from here? How do you try to turn this into your advantage?
Well, you have the inhibitor. You have an inhibitor open. The waves are going to push towards you. I say you just stay back. You have an Ashe. You have fine wave clear. You're going to have to give up a little bit, but right now you just need to get some of these champions on your team that are going to scale really well. Like the Syndra, we saw her get the triple kill right there. They set up these team fights decently well in that one. They need to continue to just try and get Ashe even more fed, so that way the Syndra doesn't have to be the only one that does all that.
Absolutely, and looking at the itemization right now, we do see a Thornmail from the side of the BabieZ on the Volibear, as well as a Bramble Vest on Orange. So looking like they are properly itemizing for some health cut, not letting them sustain up. And on the side of Ignition, they have proper health cut itemization as well for this Yone and for the Samira. So it's looking like both teams, as far as their itemization is going, are itemizing properly. They both have exactly what they need. Samira's got a Lord Dominix. Yone is working on his Lord Dominix right now. You see Ashe doesn't have one yet. I would like to see a third item. We might not see it though. It just all depends on what kind of itemization they go for. Meanwhile though, they are setting up around this Baron here. Right now, BabieZ has the prio on it. And I believe they should just be able to force this and win this team fight. They have all their ultimates this time, if everything goes to plan, but it is on how well Samira and Yone can do here. Both of them have been upgraded by Ornn though, so they are much stronger than you would expect.
Yeah, it's the perk of Ornn coming in now here into the late game, is that you have both your carries having upgraded items right now, and it's going to make it even harder as we see their team fights are just not looking as good as they could. Now we're just going to have Samira even more fed than she was, just because you have an Ornn.
Yeah, and that's just the beauty of Ornn. I mean, you could lose lane, you could do whatever, but as long as you're there to upgrade your carries, you've done your job. All you got to do, hit an Ornhorn and give your carries better items. All you have to do on that champion. So, looking like Dragon is about to spawn up, looking like they are going to just try to take this. Meanwhile, though, Ignition is looking like they're going to trade this Dragon over and try to take Baron, but they will be spotted out on Vision going for this, so I'm curious how the BabieZ are going to answer to this.
Yeah, it looks like they might just go up and take this drag. They still have enough, they could take it down quick enough, as we see Alistar already hitting up and Samira, so it looks like they're actually going to try to meet them at the Baron. They are standing in the back of the Baron pit, which makes it will take a little bit more damage whenever the Baron spikes come up. No, it looks like they just take traditional damage.
Yeah, and looking like they will be able to actually get this Baron, but I think we're going to see a fight break out here. There's the knockup right there from the Alistar. Leona using her ultimate. Samira getting chain CC. Samira actually goes down, and Samira's dropped. Yone is the last carry left alive for their team. Can Yone carry this team fight? Meanwhile, though, Ashe ends up getting dropped by the Volibear, and they're going in. Yone is popping off right now with the double kill, going for that triple kill on Udyr, and Udyr just too fast, will be able to get away. And they've got supers in their base. They might be able to end this game. Udyr now getting dropped very low from those towers, will be forced to reset, but he does have Baron-empowered reset, should be able to get back to base quick enough. And with Baron minions, hopefully they can be able to defend and hold this. Now, currently the rest of the team is now showing up. Both inhibitors have respawned, and looking like they could just be able to take these inhibitors and take a reset. Looking like that's exactly what they're doing.
That was almost a really good play for them being able to get that Baron. Then you saw the Samira go down, but You have also the Yone wielded by Blade, one of the champions that he's also really proficient on. We talk a lot about his Yasuo, but he puts a lot of time into that Yone too. And it's really
Looking like they're going to try to force a fight here. Leona using the ultimate, ends up missing. Ornn forced to flash away from it, and they're trying to do a repeat of what they did earlier, trying to chase him down, trying to run them down this time. Meanwhile, though, Samira is very close nearby. She's rotating over, and there's the Ashe arrow on Ornn. Ornn is going to get caught out and will end up getting dropped here, calls an Ornn horn. Now here comes the fight on the back end. They are currently down one man, but they are still going to try to take this fight. Even as Steven gets the kill onto Samira, Samira gets killed, and Yone goes down now. Ignition Gaming is turning this fight around, and they have two more people to run down. They're going after the Alistar, hitting the stun. Udyr tanking the tower, very low HP, hopefully does not die and will not die. Ashe gets a triple kill, and they get this tower. They have Baron buff. They could try to push down these towers down here in bottom lane and crack an inhib if they want to. And looking like they won't. They're going to try to take a reset to clear their base. Unfortunately, everybody backing. So that's all they're going to get off of that play.
Yeah, I would have just only sent the Ashe back. I would have just continued to push up these towers with everybody else. Maybe just send the Syndra back, but just having BabieZ as the lone person pressuring this tower down here. Sorry, the Udyr with the lone person pressuring the tower down there. I think it's a little overkill to send everybody back. You definitely could have gotten more out of that than you did.
Absolutely. Now looking at the gold difference in this game, it is, I mean, it's roughly a 2,000 gold difference game right now. Despite 7 towers to 2, 2 dragons to 3, 25 kills to 16, they're still within 2k gold. That is the power of shutdowns. And I mean, look, if you're the BabieZ, you gotta figure out a way that you can win a team fight and just end these games, because it seems like every time they win these team fights, they throw in the very next one by overstaying. Let them come off respawn and get ran down and killed. So I would like to see them try to push these waves and take the next fight a lot closer to their towers.
Yeah, definitely, as we're about to see a couple of people, they're grouping up towards Baron. They're trying to set up a little bit of vision around there. And if I wouldn't be very, very, very afraid right now if you are Ignition. You do not want the BabieZ getting this Baron. You've had a good time taking it away from them last time. It saved you a lot whenever it came to them pushing into your base. And you need to continue to set up that vision around there. It looks like they don't have a lot. They are not able to push up enough to get there. So...
yeah, it looked like Alistar's taking a little bit of poke damage, a lot of damage from that Syndra. That Syndra is starting to hurt. So hopefully we start to see some more MR itemization coming out from the side of the BabieZ. Right now they are mostly itemized for this Ashe. So a little bit surprising to see that here. Now looking at the rest of the builds across the board here, we're seeing a ton of mobility on both sides, but in this bottom lane, Samira currently sitting on 3 items. Ashe is about 2.5 items or so. You know, kind of has components for a couple different things here, so I'm not super sure what she plans on turning it into. And there it is. There's the 3rd item. The Lord Dominix is built. So both of them are currently 3 items in, but Samira has some MR now. She's got the Spectre's Cowl.
Yeah, I'm a little bit behind you. I gotta catch up to you here. My game keeps freezing. But yeah, it looks like she does still have the Phantom Dancer, which is going to give her the movement speed that she's going to need to try and cut out these fights. And she has the Lord Dominix for the 3 tanks on their team. So she is starting to prepare a little bit more for being able to chunk down in team fights, as we talked about her being the solo AD damage. She's trying very
and here
hard.
We go. Alistar going in. Hits the stun onto a dear Leona. And unfortunately, nothing else coming out from it. Dragon is spawned up, though. And this might be the fight that decides the rest of the game. Alistar pushes away the Malphite now and doesn't have the W. Malphite going in with the R. Samira just flashes the Malphite R, though, and doing her best, trying to kite this back, getting dropped very low, using the ultimate now, trying to sustain him, ends up getting stunned out and gets killed. That is a dead Samira. Yone, last one left for the carries, trying to carry this one, but they ended up getting the Ignite the Ice on his Ashe, and they ended up getting the kill on the Leona, and now they've gotten the kill onto the Syndra. There's 3 down. It is a 1 for 3, and they might be able to just end this game. They're trying to push down mid right now and end it. Volleybear's chasing this Udyr. Udyr is very fast, so pops his Ghost and will be able to just get back to the safety of his fountain. And it's going to have to be Malphite and Udyr that try to save this game. Yone doing his best right now, trying to hit these towers. And there's the chain CC onto the Udyr. Will Udyr end up getting dropped? Yes, he will. Beyblade gets the kill onto Udyr. Can they get the kill onto this Malphite? Malphite now using the ultimate. Unfortunately, Yone is tanking tower, and they're doing their best to try to kill this Malphite. Malphite getting dropped very low, and there is the kill! Beyblade getting the kill on Yone, but Leona is spawning up, and so is the Ashe. Will they keep going? Will they try to back out of this? There's the Leona ultimate. It does connect on the Ornn. Volibear now getting dropped very low, trying to kite this out, but Ashe ends up getting the kill. And Malphite and Udyr save the game, stalling as long as possible for their carry to come back up and be able to defend this base. And what is going on? That is another team fight that they have won with a cracked inhib, and they have not been able to end the game.
Yeah, sorry, my game keeps freezing, and I'm like always like 20 seconds behind you, so I'm trying to catch back up for some reason. Like every time you're telling me someone's dying, I have a hiccup in my game, and then all of a sudden it shoots it backwards. But
it's the trigger word. I'm sorry.
Every time I'm casting, I'm actually so far behind you. But looks like they are trying to get a little bit of vision control set up around this Baron finally, and that could spell the end to this game. They have 2 inhibitors open, one of them being down. But it looks like they are going to try and contest this and clear the vision. So, Volibear coming back up, and he's going to head there too, as everybody is up. They are clearing vision right now, pushing in this mid wave with the Udyr. This may be the deciding factor.
Yeah, and I don't like this play from Volibear to stop and clear his wolves. I feel like you just got to get with your team. At this point, getting that little bit of extra gold is really not that important. What's important is being there with your team if fight does break out. And looking like right now, they are just kind of dancing around this Baron. The prio is on the side of BabieZ, but as we've seen time and time again, they've been able to answer and shut down this Samira in these team fights. Malphite doing an excellent job of zoning her out and doing his best to kill her, while Syndra, all she has to do when this Malphite does that is just press R. Stun does here in the mid lane though. A little bit of fighting going on there. And they're just kind of duking it out while the rest of the team's dancing around the Baron pit. Currently, Volibear, I'd say, is winning this fight, but there goes Alistar going in onto Leona. Leona using the ultimate onto Samira, chained up with the Malphite ultimate, and Samira is down. Yone, though, getting the kill onto the Syndra. Ashe also dead. Can Yone carry the rest of this fight? And he gets the double kill, killing the Leona, Malphite, and Udyr. Again, the last 2 people standing in a 2v4 situation. Trying to run away now, getting chased down by the Alistar, who's probably just going to do his best to delay him being able to reset. Meanwhile, Udyr does clear his red buff and will be able to try to reset now to defend, while 3 people will push down there. And Alistar is going for this kill. He is winning this 1v1 right now with this Malphite. Uses the ignite, hits the stun. Malphite getting dropped very low. Hits him again with another Q, using the E, and Steel Fist 1v1s the Malphite. Meanwhile, though, in Ignition's base, Udyr is trying desperately to 1v3 against Yone, against the Volibear, against the Ornn. Ashe is up in 4 seconds. And can he do it? Yone's Immortal Shield Bow gets procced, and they're just hitting this Nexus, but Ashe gets the kill onto Yone. Ashe doing her best, trying to defend, ends up doing an early flash, and ends up getting dropped herself. Leona and Syndra now last 2 up for their team, trying to defend this. Alistar now showing up for the fight. Ornn and Alistar will be able to end the game, and that is GG's. The BabieZ take down Ignition Gaming in a long 38-minute bloodbath of a game. Oh.
Wow. All technical difficulties aside, that was
what a game.
Really interesting. I think that just came down specifically to the fact that the execution was constantly better on the side of BabieZ, but the team comp for Ignition, I feel like their team fight just like champion-wise is a lot better, but they just couldn't execute it correctly. So we just kept seeing this back and forth and back and forth. So really high props to Demon Angel and to Choose Life for being able to keep that early game intact for them and be able to create the plays whenever things were looking a little down. But as the game went on, it seemed like that Ignition was just going and folding over a lot, losing a lot of control in the map.
Absolutely. Looking like we are going to have Demon Angel in here now. Demon Angel, congrats on the W, man. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good about it. Not gonna lie, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, that was a bloodbath of a game. Did you expect it to go 38 minutes?
No, not at all. Not initially. Not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
I gotta say, congrats to your mid laner Beyblade. He popped off 12-6 when it hit that late game. I mean, he put on the carry performance he needed to help finish what you had started. So, I mean, look, man, you guys played very well. There was a few hiccups, a few times they ended up being able to respawn and reset and then run you guys down and get some team kills. So tell me, what were the team comms like in game when you guys were doing these team fights? Were you guys at all concerned? Were you guys like trying to keep track of who had what ultimate?
There was definitely communication on the ultimates, but I'll admit we were definitely trolling. We were trolling at least twice. At least twice. Our jungler even called for us to just want to troll a little bit, and we just started trolling. So we got ace the first time, and that's what made the game go even longer.
Gotcha. So your jungler called for you guys to troll a little bit. And after you guys got aced, were you concerned that there was a chance that you guys might lose this game?
No, not at all, because if you just look at the team comps, all they're trying to do is kill me, and they have no damage if Ashe or Syndra die.
That is true. Likewise, your team also loses a lot of damage if Yone dies and you die. But, as we saw time and time again in those team fights, you would get completely nuked from the Malphite and Chain CC combo, but Yone would be left pretty much untouched, able to pop off and kill their backline.
Exactly. Because they have no damage to kill Yone after they use everything on me, so it just makes it simple, rinse and repeat. I'll take the death, but if my team wins the team fight, what does it matter?
Well, we have about 1 minute left on this, so I probably have one more question. How do you feel? This is game 1. You guys were able to get this win. How do you feel going into this season? Do you feel like you're just going to be able to steamroll the rest of the way there? Do you think there's a little bit more we got to work on? How does it feel after this?
I definitely think that since it was first week with 2 subs, I think we did all right for having 2 subs, not playing with these guys before, all as like a team together. But going forward, I think we have putting our best foot forward. We didn't win first week, so after that, I'm not too concerned.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations on the win. We see BabieZ taking down their first win over Ignition Gaming. Congratulations, despite having subs. And with that being said now, we are going to end this cast. So thank you to everybody who came out. We will be live again in about 45 minutes for I'm Not Trying versus Hot Take. Casters for that one will be Nikolai and Kip, so it should be an exciting thing. Thank you very much, Panda, for joining me for this cast.
All right. Hope to see you guys soon, but we're going to hand it off over to Nick and Kip for game 2.
Peace.